Alright boys, welcome back to another video. Swaggy here. You can also find me over at my brand new channel, Daily Raiders. I'm absolutely disgusted with the Raiders right now. It's embarrassing, losing by 14 at home to the Carolina Panthers, to Andy Dalton, who's 36 years old, who had been a backup coming into the year, replaces Bryce Young, 319 yards and 3 touchdowns. I'm still absolutely devastated by that week 1 loss to the Chargers. First half amazing, second half terrible, and then week 2 a huge comeback win against the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, I was just feeling at top of the world. And again, being a Raiders fan, this is how it goes. It's full of disappointments. I personally think that the Raiders should trade Davante Adams. Is he the best player on the offense? Without question, it's not even debatable. But he doesn't want to be here. He's made that abundantly clear. I personally would trade him for some draft picks, and then I would use those picks and Raiders picks to move up and to get Shedeur Sanders or to get Quinn Ewers, maybe somebody else. I know a lot of you guys probably don't want to deal with the drama of Sanders and Coach Prime, but the bottom line is, guys, this team needs a quarterback, somebody that can move the ball down the field, somebody that can make plays and be a difference maker. The Raiders have weapons. They've got a new play caller in Luke Getsy, who is pretty solid. I don't think he's the best, but he's limited with Gardner Minshew, who was 18 of 28, 214 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Minshew was under pressure a lot, but he doesn't have the arm to be able to beat opposing defenses. That's why every throw he made, besides the one to Trey Tucker, was out in front of the sticks, and the Panthers came up and made tackles. Aiden O'Connell, 9 for 12, 82 yards and a touchdown. Did take a sack the second play he came in. Do I go out and say that I was wrong about Gardner Minshew? I said that he should be the starter. Right now, I'm not sure if I'm willing to say that O'Connell should be the starter, but I'm getting pretty damn close because O'Connell does have more upside than Minshew. Minshew does have more mobility, but O'Connell can stand in the pocket and he can make plays, and he can definitely pose more of a threat than Minshew. To this point, you just need a quarterback that can get the ball to these weapons and move the ball down the field, because it was just embarrassing. The one thing I will say about the Raiders, I don't know if this is a talent thing or if it's a personnel thing, a coaching thing, or if it's all of the above. Zamir White has been non-existent this season. 10 for 34, 0 touchdowns. I mean, the guy's getting 2 or 3 yards a carry. Let's look at what he's done this season. 3.2 yards per carry, 102 yards in 3 games, 32 carries. Yeah, Zamir White coming out of college. They called him Zeus, out of Georgia. I liked him a lot. I was excited he was a Raider. He was very good last season, of course, without Josh Jacobs. That game against the Chiefs was legendary. But it hasn't happened this year. And Luke Getsy, I was never the biggest fan of him in Chicago, but I figured that maybe he deserves a fresh start. He just hasn't impressed me. But again, I would like to see him with better quarterback play, because Justin Fields in Chicago was just not very good. And then he has Gardner Minshew. So I don't know. I really just don't know, guys, what to say. Davante Adams was 4 of 40. That interception by Minshew, it looked like he thought Adams was running a hitch, and he ran it out, and it was an easy pick. Man, I could have picked that off. Trey Tucker, 7 of 96 and a touchdown, had a 54-yard catch. That touchdown was from O'Connell. I like Tucker a lot. There was another miss that probably should have been a long touchdown. I mean, Tucker, I'm a big fan of him with his deep threat ability. We need a quarterback, though, that can throw the ball down the field and find him. Jacoby Myers, 7 of 62 and a touchdown, fighting against those 2 defenders and reaching for the end zone. That was impressive, man. I like this offense. The personnel, 3 of 41 for Brock Bowers. There's so many weapons in this offense, but because the Raiders can't run the ball, they're not able to open up the playbook. They're one-dimensional. And let's just say hypothetically that the Raiders had a guy like Justin Herbert, then if they go 16 for 55 on the ground, they still probably win this game. Let's just be honest. But you can't be one-dimensional with Gardner Minshew. You can't be one-dimensional with a solid average quarterback at best in the NFL. It's just not going to win you games. And trust me, we're getting to the defense, because the defense was terrible. It was garbage. I mean, what the hell? You shut down the Ravens last week. You make big play after big play. And then against the Panthers, you give up 131 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Andy Dalton throws for 3 touchdowns, 319 yards. 3 of those touchdowns came in the first half. I mean, what the hell of a performance was this? Deontay Johnson, who had, I believe, 5 catches coming into this week, 8 for 122 and a touchdown. There was multiple plays where he just ran slants to the inside and was able to break loose. I mean, it was bad, guys. It was flat out bad. Chuba Hubbard, who had been non-existent the first 2 games, not only does he rush for 114 yards, he adds in 55 yards receiving with a touchdown. Crazy, man, crazy. Xavier Legette, 2 for 42. Adam Thielen, 3 for 40 and a touchdown. Tommy Tremble, 3 for 29. Jonathan Mingo, 3 for 18. And Miles Sanders, 2 for 13. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 different Panthers catching a ball for 10 or more yards is just insane. And for the Raiders defense, they did not force a takeaway. They did not force a fumble. They did not get an interception. Yeah, there was a couple of times they probably should have had a pick, so I'm not going to lie, but they didn't come down with it. So you're not forcing takeaways. You can't run the ball. You can't stop the run. You're getting torched in the air. Because you can't stop the run, now you're in third and manageables. But even in the third and longs, Andy Dalton had no issue getting the ball to his weapons. He had a lot of time to throw. The Panthers' offensive line last week, when they went up against the Chargers, statistically was the best in football at blocking. And it was pretty damn good in this one as well. I'm stunned. I'm stunned that the Raiders lost to the Panthers, but especially to get their asses handed to them. I mean, wow. If the Raiders do not win next week against the Cleveland Browns, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm off of them because it's way too early after 4 weeks of football. But if Minshew does not have a good game, I don't care if Cleveland has a good defense. It's time to put in Aiden O'Connell because you cannot start the season off 1-3. Losing to the Chargers, the first game was just unnecessary considering the second half was a meltdown, and then losing to the Panthers and losing to the Browns at home, like you gotta win this game, man. Especially in a crowded AFC. The division, I'm not saying that the Raiders need to win the division. They just need to win double-digit games and make the playoffs. And right now, they're just not off to a start to be able to do that. It just hasn't been pretty. And the game against the Ravens, beating the Ravens to begin with is impressive, but they did have to come back. They were down. They had to make a crazy second half comeback. So outside of that, I'm not really sure what else to tell you guys. It was just one of those games where this isn't the Raiders. I mean, you know what? It is the Raiders. This is the Raiders that I've ever since I've grown up watching, but I just know they can do better. And this was supposed to be a big season. It truly was. Going out there, of course, giving Antonio Pierce the head coaching job fully. The defense, after what it did last season, Zamir White, there was just so much to be optimistic about. And it just has not happened, right? It hasn't happened. And just to be bad at all levels is the issue here. I don't know. What did the Raiders even do well in this game? I mean, I really can't think of anything. They had a couple of touchdown drives, but there was just so much bad in this game. It's hard to build off of this. And to top it off, to make it even worse, you have Antonio Pierce talking about business decisions in a press conference after the game. You have Davante Adams posting him in a Raiders jersey, questioning his future. If I'm the Las Vegas Raiders, again, I'm trading Davante Adams. I'm getting as many draft picks as I can, and then I'm packaging those picks with my picks to move up to get Shedeur Sanders. I'm a Buffaloes fan, so I'm biased, but I can pretty much assure you guys that Shedeur Sanders, if he becomes a Raider, will put you guys over the top. You want to compete in the AFC, you want to compete with the Chiefs, go get a quarterback who's mobile, who's accurate, who's a leader. I mean, he would fit right in. And he wants to be a Raider too. So